I never thought I'd be sharing this, but here goes. I'm Alex, 38, and I own a small hotel just outside the city. Sounds fancy, right? My family, not so much. My older brother, David, has always been Mom's favorite. Straight A's, star athlete, you name it. Me, I was just Alex. Never quite good enough. Mom always found a way to downplay my wins. I kept my head down and built something for myself, something they mostly didn't know about. Until now. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder if it was worth it. You won't believe what my cousin Brittany just pulled. Brittany, bless her heart, demanded to have her 30th birthday bash at my hotel. Free of charge, naturally. I caved. Family, right? The party was a spectacle. All flashing lights and fake smiles. Then I saw it. Javier, one of my best staff members, was quietly refilling water glasses when Brittany stopped him, her face twisting in disgust. "Get him out of here," she screeched, loud enough for half the room to hear. "He's ruining the aesthetic. He looks homeless." My stomach dropped to my knees. I watched frozen as Javier's face crumpled. Brittany kept going, snapping her fingers. "I want someone else. Now." A cold wave washed over me. This was my place. These were my people. But it was Brittany's next words, dripping with venom, that finally shattered something inside me. "Honestly, Alex, I'm surprised you even own something this nice. Where'd you get the money? Did David finally throw you a bone?" The next morning, I dialed Brittany. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. "Brittany, what you did to Javier was unacceptable." Silence. Then a sugary, sweet voice. "Alex, hi. Listen about last night." "No, you listen. You humiliated him in front of everyone." "Oh, relax. He probably makes minimum wage. He'll get over it." My blood ran cold. "That's not the point." "God, Alex, you're so dramatic." She sighed dramatically. "Look, I'm throwing a party for me, and if he doesn't fit the theme, he doesn't fit. Simple." I hung up, face burning with humiliation. Then the group chat blew up. "Aunt Carol, Alex darling, I heard there was a scene so unlike you." "Mom, Alex, what happened?" "Brittany is devastated. You embarrassed her." "David, dude, seriously. Brittany's my friend. You didn't have to go nuclear." I typed. "She publicly insulted Javier in my hotel. I defended him." "Aunt Carol, oh darling, she's young and beautiful, and it was her birthday." "David, come on man, it's Brittany. She's just extra. Don't take it so seriously." My throat closed up, words trapped inside. "Mom, Alex, don't be difficult. We're family, we should support each other. You always have to be right, don't you? You've changed, Alex. Money changes people." My heart pounded like a drum against my ribs. "That never happened the way you're describing, did it?" "I haven't changed," I typed, my fingers shaking. "I'm standing up for what's right." "David, why are you bringing this up now? It's over, move on." "Mom, you know how sensitive Brittany is. You should be apologizing to her." I stared at the screen, the words blurring. Was I overreacting, making a scene? Maybe I had changed. Maybe I was just cold-hearted. I threw my phone on the couch. I was alone. It was my fault. But a tiny, defiant spark flickered. Maybe it wasn't. A week later, Mom called. "Alex, darling, are you coming to Sunday dinner? Your father misses you." My stomach clenched. I don't know, Mom. I'm really busy." "Busy? On a Sunday? Don't be ridiculous. We haven't seen you in ages. David will be there and Brittany. We need to put this whole birthday thing behind us." Brittany. The thought of facing her made my skin crawl. "I really don't think." "Oh, Alex, don't be like that. Family is family. You know how much this means to your father." The guilt trip. Always the guilt trip. "I'll see if I can make it." "Wonderful, 7 o'clock sharp, and Alex, wear something nice. You're representing the family." I hung up, a tension headache already blooming behind my eyes. Why was I still putting up with this? A flashback. 7th grade science fair. David's volcano, erupting with baking soda and vinegar, was the star. My meticulously crafted solar system. "Nice, Alex, but where's the wow factor?" Mom had said. I rubbed my temples. Sunday evening arrived like an execution date. As soon as I walked in, Aunt Carol swooped in for a hug, her perfume suffocating. "Alex, you look thinner. Are you eating properly? All that hotel work must be exhausting." "I'm fine, Aunt Carol," I said, forcing a smile. David clapped me on the back a little too hard. "Hey, man. Glad you could make it. Brittany's really sorry about everything." He gave me a knowing look. "Water under the bridge, right?" Brittany, perched on the sofa like a porcelain doll, offered a weak smile. "Hi, Alex," Mom bustled in, beaming. Alex, so glad you came. We were just reminiscing about your childhood. Remember that time you tried to build a treehouse and fell out? David had to rescue you. You were always so adventurous. The treehouse, I'd broken my arm. David had stood at the bottom laughing. My face burned. This wasn't reminiscing, it was a carefully orchestrated reminder of my past failures. Dinner was a minefield. Every other sentence was a subtle jab, a passive-aggressive dig. So Alex, how's the hotel? Still afloat? Aunt Carol asked, her eyes glinting. It's doing very well, actually, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. Oh, good. Because Brittany was thinking, now that things have calmed down, maybe you could donate a few rooms for her influencer friends. It would be such great exposure for you. Mom said it as if it were the most reasonable request in the world. My jaw tightened. Donate after everything. Mom, I appreciate the thought, but... Oh, come on, Alex, don't be stingy, David interrupted. Brittany's got a point. Free advertising. Think of it as an investment. It's more complicated than that, David. The headache intensified. Brittany added, her voice dripping with sweetness. It would really help me rebuild my image, Alex. After, well, you know. I looked at her, at their expectant faces, and felt a surge of resentment. This wasn't about family, it was about exploitation. Actually, I have to leave early, I said, pushing back my chair. I have an early meeting tomorrow. Oh, Alex, don't be silly, you just got here, Mom protested. I'm sorry, Mom, it's important. I stood up, ignoring the chorus of complaints. Good night, everyone. As I walked out the door, I heard Mom's voice laced with disappointment. He's always been so difficult. I didn't turn back. The next day, Javier knocked on my office door. He looked hesitant. Alex, you got a minute? I waved him in, surprised. Of course, Javier, what's up? He shuffled his feet, avoiding eye contact. I wanted to thank you for what you did for me. Javier, you didn't need to do that. You didn't deserve that kind of treatment, I said, waving it off. I was just doing what anyone would have done. Not everyone would, he said quietly, finally meeting my gaze. Most people would have just looked the other way. I've always admired your quiet strength, Alex. You never let anyone push you around. And you built this place brick by brick, and you've always treated everyone here with respect. His words were a balm to my wounded ego. Thanks, Javier, that means a lot. He hesitated again. Look, I know Brittany, not personally, but she's always been like that. Entitled, self-absorbed. You did the right thing. What you did was a moment of true leadership. I managed a weak smile. It doesn't feel like it. The whole family is against me. They don't see what I see, Alex. You are the best of them. Later that week, I found myself at a coffee shop meeting Sarah, a friend from college. She was a psychologist. I hadn't seen her in years. I needed perspective. So, what's been going on, Alex? She asked, stirring sugar into her latte. I hesitated, picking at a loose thread on my jeans. It's complicated, family stuff. Family stuff was my go-to minimizing phrase. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Complicated how? I sighed. My cousin had a birthday party at my hotel. She was rude to a staff member and I kicked her out. Now the whole family is mad at me. I shrugged, trying to sound nonchalant. It's just a silly argument, really. Sarah didn't buy it. Okay, walk me through it. Start from the beginning. I recounted the story, starting with Brittany's demand for the party, the humiliation of Javier, and the subsequent family backlash. As I spoke, the silly argument began to sound less silly, more sinister. I told her about my mom's constant favoritism towards David and how my accomplishments were always minimized. I described the Sunday dinner and Brittany's request for free rooms. Sarah's expression grew increasingly concerned. Wait, she demanded to have her party at your hotel, free of charge, and then berated your employee. Yeah, I mumbled, feeling a wave of shame. And your family is siding with her, pretty much. Sarah put down her spoon, her eyes narrowed. Alex, that's actually not normal family behavior, demanding free things and publicly shaming someone. I know, but I trailed off, unsure how to explain the twisted logic of my family dynamic. They're family, you know how it is. No, Alex, I don't. You realize that's manipulative, right? Trying to guilt you into giving Brittany free rooms after she treated your staff like that. I shifted uncomfortably in my seat. I guess so. Sarah leaned forward. If anyone else treated you that way, would you accept it? I thought about it for a moment. No, absolutely not. So why are you accepting it from your family? You deserve to be treated with basic respect. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. It was so simple, so obvious, yet I'd never allowed myself to see it. I had been so conditioned to accept their behavior that I'd normalized it. My mom always favored David, I confessed, the words tumbling out. He was the golden child. I could never do anything right. And this birthday party situation is just a continuation of that pattern, Sarah said gently. They're invalidating your feelings, minimizing your accomplishments, and expecting you to cater to their needs, regardless of how they treat you. I felt a strange mix of relief and anger. Relief at being validated, anger at the years of emotional abuse I'd endured. I always thought it was me, I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. I thought I was just too sensitive, too difficult. Alex, you're not too sensitive. You're reacting to unhealthy behavior, and it's not your fault. You've been conditioned to accept it. I stared at my reflection in the window, seeing myself in a new light. I wasn't difficult. I was being mistreated. Javier said something similar, I said. He said I showed true leadership. Sarah smiled. See, other people see it too. It's time you started seeing it yourself. A new feeling began to bubble inside me, a feeling of clarity and resolve. I was done. Done with the guilt trips, the manipulations, the constant feeling of never being good enough. I'm not going to let them do this anymore, I said, my voice firm. I'm not going to apologize for defending my staff. And I'm definitely not giving Brittany any free rooms. Sarah beamed. That's my Alex. You deserve to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. That's all it took, a statement of fact, a truth laid bare. I spent the rest of the afternoon at the coffee shop mapping out my plan. It wasn't revenge, it was about taking control. It was about protecting my business, my staff, and myself. I walked out of the coffee shop a changed man. The quiet achiever was gone. Alex, the protector, had finally arrived. Then the emails started, anonymous messages to the hotel's public email, slipping into spam folders at first, then gaining frequency, complaints, vague at first, then increasingly specific, unsafe conditions, unprofessional staff, rodent sightings. I forwarded them to my lawyer, dismissing them as internet trolls, but the frequency escalated. Then the city inspectors arrived, citing anonymous complaints, demanding immediate action. Each violation, minor on its own, added up. A missing fire extinguisher sign, a slightly chipped tile in the pool, fines mounted. My manager was beside himself, running rag to address each fabricated issue. I pulled security footage. Nothing out of the ordinary. The complaints were meticulously timed to avoid detection. Someone knew the hotel's routines, its weaknesses. My lawyer called, his voice grim. Alex, these complaints, they're all connected. Same IP address bouncing through proxies. Someone's trying to shut you down. He paused. And I think I know who. He outlined his findings. James, Brittany's boyfriend. A man who thrives on connections, on leverage. A man who wouldn't hesitate to use his influence to silence a perceived enemy. The IP addresses traced back to a shell corporation with links to James's business ventures. The pieces clicked into place. Brittany's humiliation, her need for revenge, James pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It wasn't just a family squabble anymore. It was a calculated attack, a deliberate attempt to destroy everything I had built. I thought about Javier, his quiet dignity, now jeopardized by this insidious scheme. I thought about my staff, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. I felt something snap, a clean, decisive break. Years of suppressed anger, resentment, and self-doubt coalesced into a burning, white-hot rage. My vision narrowed, my hands clenched into fists. Enough. The quiet ache in my chest was replaced with a surge of adrenaline. My shoulders straightened, my breath deepened. I stood taller. Outside, I was calm. Inside, a storm raged. The betrayal was complete. The line had been crossed. I'm done, I said, my voice a low, dangerous rumble. I hung up the phone. This wasn't about family anymore. This was about survival. This was about protecting what was mine. They wanted a war, fine. They were about to get one. Evidence stacked. Emails, screenshots, inspection reports, the lawyer's findings on James. My phone buzzed, another bogus review. Anger flared, then receded. Control, Alex, control. Consultations complete. Lawyer prepped the cease and desist. Therapist armed me with techniques to deflect manipulation. Remember your worth, Alex. Their actions are about them, not you. Research done. Defamation laws, online harassment statutes. Knowledge is power, power I intend to wield. Plan finalized. The charity gala, a showcase of success, a public defense. A message, I will not be bullied. Contingencies in place for every conceivable attack, responses rehearsed. I value integrity. My staff is my priority. I will not tolerate harassment. I looked in the mirror. My eyes were narrowed, my jaw was set, clothing chosen, a dark suit, professional, confident, armor, support system activated. Sarah on standby. Call me if you need anything, Alex, anything at all. Javier offering quiet encouragement. We're all behind you, Alex. Don't let them win. My heart hammered. Family, would they ever understand? Would they see the truth? Doubts gnawed. Mom's disappointment, David's judgment, Brittany's tears. No, this wasn't about them. It was about Javier. It was about my staff. It was about right and wrong. It was about me finally. Javier knocked softly. Alex, you okay? Yeah, Javier, just nervous. He offered a small smile. You got this, Alex. You're stronger than you think. Remember what you're fighting for. He handed me a small, smooth stone. Hold this, it helps me stay calm. The stone was warm in my hand. Thanks, Javier. One more thing, he said, his voice serious. Don't expect them to change, do this for yourself. His words were a cold splash of reality. Don't expect miracles, expect a fight. I took a deep breath, adjusting my tie. Gala time. My hotel shimmered in the evening light. I walked toward the entrance. No turning back. This is my stand. The ballroom shimmered, crystal chandeliers reflecting off polished floors. Music pulsed, a carefully curated mix of upbeat jazz. Local dignitaries, influencers, and hotel staff mingled, champagne flutes in hand. The air crackled with anticipation. I scanned the crowd. Mom, David, Brittany, all present. I took the stage, the spotlight blinding. A hush fell over the room. Years of feeling invisible vanished. This was my space, my moment. Good evening, everyone, I began, my voice amplified, confident. Thank you for joining us tonight in support of this important cause. I spoke of the hotel, its mission, the importance of community, the value of integrity. I avoided any direct mention of Brittany, of the recent chaos, but everyone knew. The tension was palpable. As I concluded my speech, applause thundered. I stepped off the stage, adrenaline coursing through me. I saw her then. Brittany weaving through the crowd, her face pale, her eyes red-rimmed. She stopped in front of me, her voice a choked whisper. Alex, can we talk? Alone. I nodded curtly, leading her to a quiet alcove. I wanted to apologize, she stammered, her voice trembling. For everything. For the party, for what I said to Javier, for everything that's happened since. Apology accepted. My voice was flat, devoid of emotion. This felt like a performance. No, you don't understand. I was awful. I let the attention go to my head. I was cruel. I was horrible. Tears streamed down her face. I'm in therapy now. I've broken up with James. She fumbled in her purse, pulling out a document. And I've signed a complete retraction of all the complaints here. She thrust the paper into my hands. I took it, glanced at the signature, genuine. Why now, Brittany? I asked, my voice low. Why after all this? Brands dropped me. I lost sponsorships. I'm a laughingstock. I realized I was wrong, really wrong. I looked into her eyes. I saw a flicker of something genuine amidst the self-pity. Remorse? Maybe. Manipulation. Possibly. Then Mom and David arrived, flanking Brittany like bodyguards. Mom's face was etched with disapproval. David's eyes narrowed. Alex, Mom began, her voice sharp. What is going on here? Why are you upsetting Brittany again? Can't you just let it go? Mom, this doesn't concern you. My voice was firm, unwavering. Doesn't concern me, she's family, and you're making a scene again. Those tactics don't work on me anymore. I stared directly at her. This is between Brittany and me. David stepped forward, his jaw tight. Come on, Alex, don't be a jerk. She's apologizing. What more do you want? I want respect. Respect for my staff, for my business, for myself. My voice rose, echoing through the alcove. Something you've never given me. Don't be ridiculous, Mom scoffed. We've always supported you. Supported me. You've dismissed me, criticized me, and undermined me my entire life. This isn't about the party or the emails or anything. This is about control, and you've lost it." Their faces paled. David stepped back, his eyes wide. Mom's mouth opened and closed, no words coming out. Brittany watched, tears still streaming, her carefully constructed facade crumbling. "All my life I tried to make you proud," I said, feeling the weight of years lift from my shoulders. "To measure up to David, to please you, I was an idiot." Mom sputtered, attempting to regain control. "Alex, how dare you speak to me like that? I'm done sacrificing my well-being for your comfort." I turned to Brittany. "I accept your retraction. I hope you get the help you need." I turned back to my mother and said, "This ends now. I'm not asking, I'm telling you." I walked away, leaving them speechless, their carefully constructed world crumbling around them. I walked back into the ballroom, the smooth stone cool in my palm. I reclaimed my power. The ballroom blurred around me. The music, the chatter, the clinking glasses all faded into a dull hum. I felt strangely detached, as if watching myself from afar. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the sudden silence in my head. A wave of nausea washed over me, followed by a dizzying lightness. My legs felt like lead. I stumbled toward the nearest table, gripping the edge to steady myself. Javier appeared at my side, his face etched with concern. "Alex, are you okay? You look pale." I think I need some air," I managed, my voice hoarse. He guided me out onto the hotel's terrace, the cool night air a welcome relief against my burning skin. The city lights twinkled below, a vast, indifferent panorama. I leaned against the railing, taking deep, shuddering breaths. "What happened back there, Alex?" Javier asked softly. "I saw your family, it looked intense." "It was," I said, exhaustion creeping into my bones. "It was a long time coming." The silence stretched, punctuated only by the gentle rustling of the palm trees. Then a commotion erupted from inside the ballroom, shouting followed by a crash. "I should go back," I said, straightening up. "No," Javier said firmly, placing a hand on my arm. "Let them sort it out. You need to take care of yourself." I looked at him, at his unwavering support, and a wave of gratitude washed over me. "Thanks, Javier. I don't know what I'd do without you," he smiled. "You'd be okay, Alex, you're stronger than you think." I closed my eyes, picturing my mother's shocked face, David's bewildered expression, Brittany's tears. A small, weary smile touched my lips. "It's over," I whispered. "It's finally over." The rest of the night passed in a blur. I made polite conversation, circulated among the guests, and accepted congratulations. But my mind was elsewhere, replaying the confrontation, dissecting every word, every emotion. By the time the last guest departed, I was drained, both physically and emotionally. I walked through the deserted ballroom, the remnants of the party scattered around me, discarded napkins, half-empty glasses, wilted flowers. It felt like the aftermath of a battle. I went to my office, sank into my chair, and closed my eyes. The smooth stone was still warm in my hand. I opened my laptop and started writing this post. It's been 6 weeks since that night. 6 weeks of navigating a new reality. The immediate fallout was messy. Mom called incessantly, leaving tearful voicemails, accusing me of being ungrateful, selfish, and cruel. David sent a series of angry texts, calling me a drama queen and demanding that I apologize to Brittany. Brittany, surprisingly, remained silent. Some extended family members sided with Mom, whispering behind my back, questioning my sanity. Others, mostly cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, reached out with messages of support, confessing that they had always felt the same way about my mother's favoritism. Aunt Susan, surprisingly, turned out to be an ally, calling Mom to defend me. Some family members refused to change. Aunt Carol is still a gossip. Some have made an effort. I've blocked Mom and David's numbers. It's been weird. I feel guilty but also peaceful. The hotel's business has surged. The charity gala generated positive press, and the retracted complaints have been removed from online review sites. Javier has been promoted to assistant manager. The staff morale is higher than ever, but the victory feels bittersweet. I've been doing a lot of work on setting boundaries. I still have moments of doubt, occasional pangs of guilt. Sometimes, late at night, I find myself replaying the confrontation, wondering if I could have handled things differently. But then I remember Javier's face, my staff's dedication, my own hard work, and the peace returns. Mom sent me an email last week. A long, rambling message filled with apologies, justifications, and veiled threats. She admitted that she may have favored David, but insisted that it was only because he needed more support. She begged me to reconsider, to forgive her, to come home for Sunday dinner. I didn't reply. David sent a shorter, more conciliatory text. "Hey man, maybe we can talk, no pressure." I haven't responded to that one either. Brittany has been posting inspirational quotes on Instagram. Apparently, she's now a wellness influencer. I've learned that family doesn't automatically equate to love or respect. That setting boundaries is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. That true strength comes from integrity, not approval. That my worth is not determined by other people's opinions. I'm still processing everything, still healing, still learning to trust my own judgment. I'm not the quiet, insecure Alex I used to be. I'm stronger, more confident, and more self-aware. The hotel is thriving, my staff is happy, and I have a small circle of friends who genuinely care about me. I've started hosting weekly game nights at my apartment. I even hosted a low-key birthday party for myself last week, surrounded by friends. I feel lighter, freer, more authentic. But there's still a part of me that longs for the family I always wished I had. A part of me that hopes, against all reason, that Mom and David will eventually understand. So Reddit, am I crazy for cutting them off? Has anyone else experienced something similar? How do you deal with family members who refuse to respect your boundaries? Am I being too harsh? Any advice would be appreciated.